everyone, welcome back to Griffin. It's great to have you back with me. We are in May, heading down to the Larson's bale sell point. We've just finished loading on all the bales that we ended up with at the end of the last episode, so we've got a full trailer of 24. There was one more that was left on the field that didn't fit, but I'm pretty hopeful that this will give us what we need to both finish field 31, end field 37, and probably generate a reasonable amount of cash. We're not going to worry about keeping any extra. It's just like we won't worry about getting the one that we've left beside the field for the minute, because we really want the cash more than anything, so that we can put into effect the plan that we were talking about in the last episode. But first order of business is to finish these contracts. So here's the yard, so we'll just duck around and back in and unload. There's a whole heap of finished contracts and a bunch of cash. In fact, substantially more cash than I expected. So we really had a lot of bales left over there. 16,534 in sold bales. So that's a good start. So that brings us back out of the overnight negative to just on 15,500. We can go ahead now and finish up these contracts, which I think will be the first step. So we collect on field 37 and then collect on field 31. And in terms of, while we're here, other contracts to think about, what have we got there? I don't think we'll do any more baling today. We do have a spreader, so perhaps and now we've got a little bit of cash, we'll be able to buy some more fertilizer. So I'm thinking we might accept that one. And now we can head back to the store, because we've got to buy some fertilizer, but we've also got to pick up something to move this fabric with, because if we have a look, our fabric's at $7,000 and we have 6 of those, so that'll be over 40,000 in cash. So I think now is a very good time to be selling our fabric. As you can see, it's over the last year's max price, so we need to make hay, and to do that we're going to need something to load it with. So let's head down the store. Not only pick up something to be able to move the fabric around, but also it'll be available to move some bales around for us and just generally be useful. We also need to pick up the device to scan these fields, so that's an important activity. so we can then we'll be able to fertilise that last oat field. So first things first, let's get the field tester, and the one that I want to use is the Azaria's Scout, of course. Sorry, yes, this is the base game one that comes, and there's a mod which just provides us with some bigger distances that we can scan, and so I'm kind of keen to grab that. So you can see the circle that it creates: 32.5 meter radius, a 65 meter radius, 130 and 260. Well, I think the 65 is fine because we're still following the process. It's just not as fiddly to cover the field, and particularly as we do bits of a field at a time and the like. So I think we will grab one of these, and this time, unlike before, we'll actually buy it, and that way we can see it. So we're going to buy one of those, and then the next thing we need is some sort of loader. Now, actually, have we got anything useful for sale? We do not. What about loaders? So skid steer loaders, the smallest. We could use one of these little lizard ones potentially. That looks like a very familiar to a little bobcat that I know here. So I'm thinking that something like that, just with the standard setup, no fancy, we'll put a beacon on it because it'll be working in a yard and might occasionally have to cross the road. But apart from that, I think we'll just go with that. Now we can't afford to buy it, so we'll lease that. It's only $2.50 a day, so that's not too much of a problem. So we'll grab one of those. Now we also need a tool to be able to do a couple of things. I think it would be handy to have a bale spike for it. What have we got here? We've got a whole range of tools, so I think this might be useful. Loading mode, we don't need automatic, manual is fine for a bale spike. I see we could adjust it with get it at 1.4 for now, and I think we need to be buying that. But we also need to get something to pick up pallets and like, and bags, and so I'm thinking do we just get regular pallet forks? This is probably a bit more versatile, so I think we'll get one of these for the skid steer, and we'll buy one of those. Yes. And then the question is, do we get a weight? Do we even have a linkage on the back of this? we do not. So I think we'll just make do with that. Right. The other thing we need is a couple of bags of fertilizer, I suspect, so that we can do those. So let's get 4 bags of fertilizer. Which will give us enough to do our field and also the contract. And we can load everything up. First things first, we can put this bale spike on. Let's see if we can lift 2 of these. I'm not sure how heavy. Well, I know they're heavy. A bit too heavy by the looks. That's what I wanted. No, still can't lift it. So just one at a time. That's okay. That's correct. Have to pay much more attention to which tool is actually attached. Oh, would you stop doing that? This is fiddlier than I expected. There we go. I think it might just be a matter of getting used to reading the indicator up there in the corner. It is telling me what's happening, but it's trying to concentrate on it and the readings at the same time. Oh, sorry, the controls at the same time. I'm just finding a little bit challenging. That was a little bit better. Feels like quite a stable and responsive little skid steer, this one. So once I whoa. except when you've got all the weight and you do a fast corner. Now why all of a sudden are you doing that? Very interesting behaviour. That's better. Right. Now, will this be able to pick up the Azaria, or will I need the tractor to load it? Is the next question. I know I can't mount it on the 3-point, but will it pick it up like an object? No, it will not. Okay, so this only a bag lifter. Oh, tension belts might pick it up. No, can't pick it up with tension belts. Okay. So we will just pop you up on the ramp. Use the tractor to load that first. Because if we put the skid steer on first, we won't be able to shift it at the other end. Shoe back in there neatly. And that's the job done. So now we can head back up to our spinnery. And start the chores. We're up there. Hold up the rear tailgate and off we go. And here we are at the spinnery. We might back down that driveway, I think, and stay out of the ditch. Put you over there on the pad near the fence. Rear ramp down, and let's see if we can get some of these pallets loaded. Whilst it's versatile, I'm wondering if mightn't have been better off with forks, so yeah, this looks like it'll do the job. So there you. There should be 6 of them. closer. Quite a serviceable lift on this unit as well, which is handy. This will be very flexible down here, I think. One more to go. Excellent. So that's that bit done. Where do we have to go to sell these? We need to be heading for fabric to the grocer, which is the other end of the main street, if I'm not mistaken. Just coming through the back part of town, we've got the motel on our left, the bowling alley on the right, and I'm pretty sure the grocery store, Grocer Walmart, is around here at the end. I think is the sell point. Let's have a look. I may have to turn on the, or is it round the back? It might be round the back, in fact. Around here. This looks promising. Indeed, we are selling fabric for $42,061, so that's fantastic. Let's get back and with our 48,000, see how much of our sheep we can add. So if you were watching the earlier episodes and can recall back to there, you'll remember that we ended up owning the spinnery after doing a couple of cotton contracts and being unable to deliver a product to finish them due to the spinnery entering receivership. So in a fit of somewhat desperation, you might say inspiration, Kevin decided to buy it and spent the best part of $90,000 by extending his mortgage and taking on a higher interest rate as well. So that's how we came to, we might just park over here for a second rather than back in right now. That's how we came to own it. And now that we're in a position to expand, so buying it also gave us the land, and so the opportunity that exists back here potentially is to take a sheep pen. Let's see, these are all pretty expensive. That's too big. This one, 15 sheep's not enough. So we could put a fenceless husbandry in. That's quite sizable. That's bigger than we can fit, isn't it? Yes. That's bigger than we'll fit in the space, so that one's out. We could put one of these ones in, and the main downside is there's no, we would have to bring water to it, which is a problem we could solve, and there's no protection for the sheep. 195 is too many. How many was that? Was 50. This is 100, and I'm kind of liking the fact it's got a bit of a building attached, which sort of seems appropriate. And if we put something like that, we don't need, we could put it a little bit of an angle if we wanted. I don't think we're going to use this space for anything else, so it's not like we've got to cram it in. And that'd be 40,000. It's telling us it overlaps, but I think if we just dropped it on, turn on toggle, or turn on toggle free mode, so we'll toggle free mode on, and 40,800 gets us that. And then we could potentially just fence it from the edge of the house. So we could put a fence across here. A little bit of fencing. What would that look like? Decoration. And fencing sort of looks similar, doesn't it? Yep. We would have to make a flat area to put a gate. Is there a room for a gate on this side? Yes, there is. So if we just put the fence from, say, there up to the top. Oh, you're not letting me do that. Here we go. Wow, that's not letting me build that there for some reason. Hello. Toggle snapping. What if I go the other way? That's really quite bizarre, isn't it? It'll give me a price, but it won't complete it. I do not have any idea what is happening here. after much messing around, we managed to get a fence with a gate into our sheep pen. We can hide the grid, which is good. That all looks pretty good. Now we just need some sheep, which we'll sort out a bit later on. We'll leave the gates open for now. We will take this up the hill because we can get some feed from those hay bales that we left before. So that'll make it easier for us rather than bringing any down from the main farm, and this hay will keep our lambs and sheep going for some time, I think. The 4 that we did earlier in the year are just sitting up here at the top, and hopefully we'll be able to do 2 trips of 2 to take those. We've grabbed the bale spike, but we'll actually pick up the 4. Maneuverability is marginal, but possible. As long as we don't look too closely, we're not, we're only crossing a private road. In Australia, we'd have to have road safety officers and all sorts of things out to deal with this situation. I could probably turn the beacon on. Let's try and avoid falling in the culvert if we can. There we go, nothing coming. This will keep the sheep going for a considerable amount of time, I think. Lift you up just a whisker if we can get you up that edge. No, we can't. Do for now, and we'll go and get the other one. Left the round bale just on the edge of the field at the top here, so that was the one that didn't fit on the trailer first thing in the day. There it is. Can't see much with the big green orb sitting in front of that window, but I kind of know the way. Be reasonably confident there's nothing coming up the driveway. Excellent. I might leave this here for the moment anyway. And we can go move it out of the way of the where we'll have to deliver the sheep. But we've got a little happy hole that we can drop it in. I think we'll just drop the trailer off over here, because this is where we'll need to do our own fertilizing and measuring the fields. Just pull off, and we can go and get the trailer and duck down and get some lambs. I'm not sure how many we'll be able to fit, but we'll solve for that. And when Kevin contacted Larson's and told them to prepare that he'd be ordering some lambs, there was a fair amount of consternation. Don't get much call for ranch maggots as they describe them in this part of the world, so no doubt the local community will be abuzz with stories of how crazy he is and what he's up to, but nonetheless this looks like a good plan to get the spinnery producing. And given that we've got plenty of hay, it's pretty cheap to feed them. So let's just go with regular white lambs, 500 each for growing cheap. So what I think we'll do, how many of these can we put in here? We can put 10 in. So I think we'll take 10 lambs for now. And then that'll get us started. And then potentially when we've got a little more cash, we can add some mature sheep in there to tick up the wool production. Maybe another 10, so that'll be another 5,000. But for the moment, we need to make sure that we can manage our finances to get through the next couple of months. So the contract that we've got to do will pay our monthly operating expenses, and we'll need to find one more in order to be able to get the funds necessary to fund the harvester, because the barley will be ready to be harvested, I think, potentially next month. So in a couple more episodes, so that's okay. By the time we get to that point, we'll also hopefully be able to get some more grass into the silage fermenter and harvest that as well. So let's see, how easy is it going to be to drop these off? Where are we dropping them? Down the other end, I'm guessing. This might just take a little bit of organisation. Hopefully we can get those out of there. Move to husbandry, yes. There we go. We have some nice new sheep. If we have a look at their animals, 10 sheep, plenty of food. So now we just wait. So what we might do, all things being considered, is leave it there for today. It's been productive. We've gotten ourselves organised and put some deep in to ensure the longer term running of the spinnery, and another facet of our farm moves along. The barley should be ready sometime next month, so we're getting close. So that's where we'll leave it for today, and thanks very much for watching. Hope you're enjoying it, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.